The food supply in the United States is among the safest in the world. However, when certain disease-causing bacteria or pathogens contaminate food, they can cause foodborne illness, often called food poisoning. There are about 48 million cases of foodborne illness annually. That's equal to 1 in 6 Americans made sick from what they eat each year. This lesson will explore the ways that you can practice food safety to prevent foodborne illness in your facility. We'll discuss personal hygiene, time and temperature, and how to sanitize. Part 1. Personal hygiene. You, the food handler, are the last line of defense against foodborne illnesses. Food safety really is in your hands. As a food handler, you must know the steps to take to protect the safety of food that will be served to your customers. Keep in mind that some of your customers may be young children or the elderly. These are people whose immune systems may not be able to fight of illness caused by contaminated food. Even a small amount of bacteria can cause severe illness or even death. Personal hygiene is very important when working with food. Before work begins, check your appearance and hairnet. If your hair is not completely covered by the hairnet, be sure to tuck the extra hair under it. Hair can be an indirect and direct contaminator to food. Hats, hair coverings, or hairnets, along with beard restraints and clothing that covers body hair, need to be worn in the kitchen when preparing food. Remove all jewelry except for a plain wedding band because bacteria can hide in jewelry settings. Other jewelry, such as earrings, can pose a hazard if it falls in the food. Removing jewelry also protects you from injury should a necklace, bracelet, watch, or ring get caught in food production equipment. When you arrive at work, wash your hands with warm water and soap. Thoroughly clean your hands by rubbing them together. Be sure to rub between your fingers and continue up your arms. Lather for 10 to 15 seconds before rinsing. Rinse your hands before drying them. The entire hand washing process should take at least 20 seconds. Singing the happy birthday song through twice takes about 20 seconds. When your hands are rinsed, if there is not an automatic faucet, turn off the water with a paper towel to avoid hand recontamination. Then use a single-use towel to dry your hands. Also, keep your fingernails short and clean. Hands should never be washed in food preparation or sinks used for cleaning and sanitizing small equipment. To do so would promote cross-contamination. Hand washing sinks should only be used for hand washing. Hand washing stations should include soap and disposable towels or hot air hand dryers located by the sinks. When you perform non-food production and service activities such as taking out the trash, remove your apron and hang it up in an appropriate place away from production. Do not place it on the counter. When you return to work, wash your hands, remembering to sing the happy birthday song twice. Then inspect your apron before putting it back on. If the apron is dirty, replace it with a clean apron. It is necessary to wash hands between tasks. For example, if canned foods are on the menu, you may need to use a cart to load cases of product from the storage room and return it to the kitchen. After you finish this task, you should wash your hands before handling food. Whenever you touch something that is not clean and sanitized, you need to wash your hands. You may be starting to think that there is a lot of hand washing involved in safe food preparation. If you do, congratulations, you're paying attention. Hand washing is a big part of personal hygiene and preventing foodborne illness. Part 2. Time and temperature. Food safety is important to consider throughout the entire food flow of an operation, from receiving a product through proper storage to production, which includes thawing, preparing, and cooking. Food safety is also critical after preparation. This includes holding of food until service, cooling and storing extra food or leftovers, and reheating food for service at a later time. An important part of food quality is controlling temperatures so that hot food is served hot and cold food is served cold. Another important part of food safety is eliminating the time that foods are in the temperature danger zone during preparation. The temperature danger zone is between 41 degrees Fahrenheit and 135 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the range in which bacteria grow most rapidly. By avoiding or eliminating the temperature danger zone, you may help limit the spread of bacteria that can cause foodborne illness. Standard operating procedures for safe food production include monitoring proper time and temperature of food products at each step of food flow, including receiving, storing, preparing, cooking, holding, serving, and cooling. To do this, various types of temperature measuring devices can be used. It is important that the thermometer be an accurate measuring device and they should be calibrated regularly. Some digital thermometers cannot be calibrated, but they can provide a reading fairly quickly because they are tip sensitive. They cost about $10 but break easily if dropped. Infrared thermometers do not come in contact with food, so there is just not a risk of cross-contamination. However, because they only read the surface temperature, not the internal temperature of the food item, they are best used as a screening tool. Temperature readings should be taken from at least 2 places on food items to be sure they're thoroughly cooked. Remember to sanitize your thermometer after use to avoid cross-contamination of foods. Using an alcohol wipe is a good way to sanitize the thermometer. When perishable food is received, it should be checked to ensure that temperatures are not in the temperature danger zone of 41 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. If the food is in the danger zone, it should not be accepted. It is important that temperatures of all storage areas be checked and recorded twice a day. Both the external gauge and an internal thermometer should be checked to verify proper storage temperatures. There are 3 types of storage: frozen, refrigerated, and dry. Frozen food should be kept in a frozen state. Generally, that temperature is at or below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Refrigerated items need to be held between 32 and 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Dry storage area temperatures should be maintained between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Improper thawing of foods is a leading cause of foodborne illness. It is best to thaw foods under refrigeration. Check production schedules and plan ahead and allow yourself enough time for refrigerated thawing. Foods can also be thawed as a part of the cooking process. Proper endpoint cooking temperatures will vary depending on the food and preference of the clientele. At a minimum, fish should be cooked to an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Ground beef and ground pork should reach an internal temperature of 155 degrees Fahrenheit, and poultry should reach an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Cooking is a common critical control point, or CCP, meaning that it is the last chance to minimize risk associated with foodborne illness. Keeping hot foods hot and cold food cold is a basic principle in ensuring food quality and avoiding temperature abuse. But what does that mean? Temperatures for hot foods should be at or above 135 degrees Fahrenheit, and for cold foods, at or below 41 degrees Fahrenheit. It can be difficult to maintain cold food temperatures below 41 degrees Fahrenheit, particularly if a small portion size is removed too early from refrigerated storage, as it will warm into the temperature danger zone quickly. Cold food should be held in refrigerated storage at or below 41 degrees Fahrenheit until service. The proper cooling of foods is another practice critical to food safety. Improper cooling is another major contributing factor to outbreaks of foodborne illness. Hot foods must be cooled quickly. Staying in the temperature danger zone too long provides an opportunity for bacteria to grow. Even if the food is placed in a refrigerator, care must be taken to ensure that it cools quickly and safely. Hot foods should cool within 2 hours from above 135 degrees Fahrenheit to 70 degrees Fahrenheit or below, and then an additional 4-hour period be cooled from 70 degrees Fahrenheit or below to under 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Foods may stay in the temperature danger zone too long when large amounts of product, such as soup, are cooked the day before needed and transferred directly into the refrigeration unit in a large batch. It is better to speed the cooling process by using chill sticks, portioning into small quantities using ice bath or cooling in a blast chiller. When reheating foods, a minimum temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit should be reached. The reputation of a food service depends on serving quality food safely. Food service team members need to be alert to temperature and time requirements and take all preventative actions possible to ensure food is handled properly. Part 3. Cleaning and sanitizing. One of the most important steps to serving safe food is the proper cleaning and sanitizing of equipment, utensils, and facilities. This selection will discuss the two-step process of cleaning and sanitizing. You will learn the difference between cleaning and sanitizing and understand how, when, and why cleaning and sanitizing should be done. Cleaning is the removal of food or soil debris from the surface to which it clings. Sanitizing, on the other hand, is a reduction of the microbial population on equipment, utensils, and work surfaces. Cleaning requires three main components. The first one, water to wash and rinse. The second one, soap or detergent. And the third one, energy. Any surface of dishes, utensils, or equipment that comes into contact with food should be cleaned before it is sanitized. This includes cutting boards, stationary equipment, work tables and utensils, surface equipment, flatware and utensils, and dining room surfaces. Water used to clean needs to be changed frequently. Now let's look at step 2, sanitizing. Sanitizing is done after washing and rinsing are completed. When serving to the public, it is important that food contact surfaces are sanitized after cleaning to prevent foodborne illness. There are two ways of sanitizing dishware and equipment, either mechanically through a dishwashing machine or manually using a 3-compartment sink. For mechanical sanitizing, heating sanitizing with high temperatures or chemicals can be used. Heat sanitizing uses very hot water. The hot water temperature of the final sanitizing rinse for a typical commercial dishwasher is 180 degrees Fahrenheit. In order to be sure that the water is hot enough, you need to periodically check it using a temperature-sensitive strip or dish machine thermometer. Another way to sanitize is to use chemicals. Review manufacturer's instructions for use of chemicals to be sure correct amounts are used. The proper concentration for food contact surfaces is based on the type of sanitizer. Checking the concentration is important because sanitizers become less effective over time. That doesn't mean more is better. If the concentration is too high, there is a potential for toxicity. Sanitizer effectiveness also breaks down when food particles are present in the solution. Most sanitizers are good for about 2 hours and then should be changed. You now know the difference between cleaning and sanitizing and the proper steps for each procedure. To avoid recontamination of clean and sanitized items, be sure dishware and equipment are completely dry before returning to storage. Do not use towels to dry items. Air drying is recommended. Be sure clean hands are used to handle the clean and sanitized dishware and equipment. Remember, it is a 2-step process. Step 1 is cleaning, which involves washing with soap or detergent and rinsing with clean water. Step 2 is sanitizing either by high temperature or chemicals applied using a dish machine or... Let's recap. First, wash your hands often while singing the happy birthday song through twice. Second, know how to avoid the temperature danger zone, which is 41 degrees Fahrenheit to 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Lastly, cleaning requires a cleaning agent, water, and energy to be effective, and sanitizer in sinks or buckets should be changed several times a day. With these tips in mind, you're on the road to serving the safest food possible.